Hey everybody, Nerdy Transformed here again, and I thought we'd look at our first Japanese figure. This is the Henkei Cyclonus. If you don't know what Henkei is, it's basically the Japanese Takara equivalent to Universe and, Universe Classics, all that kind of stuff. Over here we had like Universe Classics Generations, Revealed the Shield, and a few other things. Over there they had, United, Henkei, and Unite Warriors recently. There's a few others, but they have a lot less classes than we do. We have like all kinds of different. We have like a new one each year. They had one that would last 2 or 3 years. Anyway, we got Cyclonus over here first as the Universe Cyclonus. This one's the Henkei one. While the Universe Cyclonus had more of a dark purple and gray paint job, this one kind of goes for more, maybe not cartoon, maybe more cartoon accurate. Like the Universe one would be more toy accurate. This one's more cartoon accurate, I think. He has this nice lavender purple all over. Very nice looking. Very alien jet. This is from season 3 of G1, so yeah, very much alien. They're all in space. It's from the same season as Ultra Magnus. You know, just ridiculous little things. But he looks very nice. There is some problems with the gap issues, which you could claim it's an alien jet. It can look wherever it wants to be, which lets it get away with a little bit, but yeah, those are some pretty major gaps. Especially since it's pretty obvious that it's just like his arms attached to his legs. Especially if you look at it from the bottom. Yeah, it's pretty obvious now that these are just his arms attached to his legs. But it works alright. He has landing gear, and while they do have wheels sculpted in, they don't actually roll, they're just kind of nubs for him to sit on. And he has this nice orangish red plastic, clear plastic for his cockpit. So that all looks nice. And you know what? Just sitting there, he is a very nice looking jet. He also... Oh yeah, another thing you might notice is the purple on the wings. If you don't know, Takara likes to use vacuumized metallic looking plastic to kind of give certain parts a shiny look. And that's what he did for the edge of his wings. And yeah, it does make his wings look a little bit more broken up, but it gives them a very nice shiny look, like they're very strong. And speaking of which, he comes with his partner Nightstick, who you can see is also covered in mostly vacuumized metal plastic. And yeah, it's pretty much just a robot just folded up. You can see there's his arms. His legs are hidden pretty well, and his head is kind of just hidden in there, but his arms are just sticking off the sides. But it is a nice gun mode. And Cyclonus does have a peg hole where you can peg Nightstick on top and give him a weapon. Also, for whatever reason, this piece at the very front is while all this is plastic, this piece at the very front is painted purple. And it does not match the rest. And if you look at the inside, you can actually see it's black plastic. I don't know if that was just because it was molded alongside the transformation joints in the wheels, but for whatever reason, this tip, the cone tip is black plastic, and then painted over to look purple. It doesn't match it perfectly, but really only in certain lights you notice it. Like, most of the time I don't see it, it's only when I really start staring at it that I notice it. But the cameras make it look like it's really different when it's different, but not as bad as it looks. Anyway, let's start with transformations. Nightstick has a double hinge right here at the back of the gun, to where it lets him flip out. You flip these little pieces down to give him feet. And then you grab the barrel, flip it back, it'll slide over the peg hole. And there's Nightstick with his shiny, shiny legs. While I do like the vacuum metallized plastic and it looks good in its gun mode, it does look a little strange here. But you know what? It's a nice little figure. Got red paint on the face to make his face stick out more, and I think his goggles or his glasses are actually slightly different color. They look like they're more orange than red. I don't know if you can really see that, but you can see his eyes are kind of like an orangish color rather than a red color. Articulation-wise, he doesn't got much. He's got a swivel at the shoulder, no outward movement. He does move his elbow at 90 degrees. And his legs can go forward, as well as he can do the waist thing so he can kind of curl back up. And that's it for Nightstick. Pretty nice little figure. Definitely amazing, but he looks nice. Cyclonus himself, you fold up the landing gear. He has a pretty neat transformation too. You collapse this part, the front of the nose cone into there, come to the back, and unpeg the wings from the thrusters, or what will become the legs. Now here's the tricky part. You're going to kind of want to get the arms or the wings out of the way. These two purple pieces are basically pegged into his hips down here. And they accordion out on double hinges each and snap back together to form his leg. And then you open up the thrusters to give him his feet. You do the same over here. I'm going to try to show you this as much as possible. Comes down. Both of them pop down double hinges. Bring them down. Slide them over this. Slide them over the hinges here. Snap them together. Open the feet up. That is a really cool leg transformation. Like, as much as it makes his vehicle mode full of holes, it's a really cool leg transformation for him. Come up. You're going to grab the nose cone and pull it back, and you'll see that the bottom of his nose cone was his head. Go ahead and turn that around. Now his nose cone will start collapsing in. There we go, now you can get a better look at this. And there's a hinge here, and there's a hinge here. What you're going to do is you're going to bring this nose cone down 90 degrees, then this piece will move at 90 degrees and fold in, and then it'll close back up to form his back. That's another nice thing. His eyes are the same orange as his cockpit, so it kind of makes it look like he was looking through the cockpit the whole time. Now these double hinges will rotate up, and now put his arms into place. And this is one thing I always like to see on a Transformer. Generations Voyager Springer had this too, where not the whole chest piece is together. You actually have to put his chest piece together. As you can see, now he actually has shoulders, and as well as the sides of his chest. You're going to grab the wings, and they're pegged into the arms and the shoulders, here and here, as you can see. And you're going to have to move the arms slightly to get it past the arm fins. Just kind of move it forward slightly. And then they're on double hinges again, so you're going to just kind of collapse the hinge in on itself to kind of give him his wings. Turn the arms so that the fins are pointing outward. Bring the joints down out of the shoulder. They're folded up in there, probably also on double hinges, and then just flip out the fist. Yeah, for all the rest of this guy's interesting hinges and transformation, that's what you get for his arms or his hands. Pretty simple, but pretty neat little transformation. It gives him a very sleek and very tall look. So as you saw, he has a really interesting and neat transformation. He really does fold away most of his vehicle mode up into himself. Or if he does have it sticking out, they're kind of looking really neat, like his wings here. One interesting thing, if you don't know, Cyclonus was actually, let's see, he was like a reused by Unicron from some of Galvatron's minions. And originally he was actually supposed to have a whole armada, but much like how oh man, I can't remember his name now. Much like the air guy did, he had a whole army as well, but he instead decided to just have one of him, even though in the movie you can still see there's two of him, which is interesting. Anyway, that's what we could probably use the Combiner Wars Cyclonus for, but yeah, his transformation is really interesting. Like I said, all of the bits kind of folded up inside, and anything that he doesn't need folds up inside of him. And you can see he has very little kibble. Only kibble he pretty much has are the wings, and even then, those are there because they're kind of what his thing. He always has his wings, much like the Seekers do. He's basically, I believe he was either Skywarp or Bombshell. I could be wrong on that, but he was transformed from Skywarp or Bombshell, depending on which one you want to count. So that's kind of interesting. Speaking of Skywarp, for comparisons, here's Combiner Wars Skywarp, the Generations Warpath, and just because I like showing them off, the Combiner Wars Bruticus, who's much, much bigger. But you can see there he is. You can see, compared to the Warpath here, as a Deluxe, since he folds out so much, he's much, much taller. And this isn't the Japanese thing. This is the Universal one's just like this too. He's at least a head taller than Warpath here. And yeah, Warpath's a lot chunkier, but you can see since he kind of has that transformation thing of having his legs kind of extend outward, it really does just add a lot of height to him and gives him a really tall look and really makes him very threatening without being bulky. Like, Warpath is threatening, but that's because of his bulk. Cyclonus here is threatening just because of his sheer height and just his cynical look he has. He looks like he's ready to beat you down. So yeah, there he is. And of course, you can transform Nightstick back into his, there we go, that way. Into his, gun mode. And only one of Cyclonus' hands has a peg hole in it, so only his, right hand can be able to hold it. So he's always going to be a righty, unfortunately, but it does look good. Gives him a nice big wet cannon to wield. And you can see there's actually a little bit of gray paint, I think, or it might actually be gray plastic that's been vacuum metallized over there. And it gives him a very good look for a gun. Like, this is like a burned from the heat of the blast. But there's another thing you can do with him. If you fold his hand back up, you'll notice on the back of Nightstick there's a pig that's never used. And the reason for that is because there's a tab hole here on whenever you fold up either Cyclonus' hand, so he can be a lefty if you want. And if you line it up, you can actually give him a gun arm. It doesn't do anything different from him just holding it, but it does look really good, and yeah, that does mean you can give him a left-handed gun arm if you want to. And yeah, it makes the cannon actually look more powerful because his arm's pretty wide, and you can make it look like it's one big cannon that he's about to shoot. And it makes him really threatening, although it does throw off his balance a bit with it being this long. As you can see, he stands just fine normally, so if you have him with the cannon arm, you might want to have his arm down a bit. But it does make him look very threatening, especially with his glowing orange eyes. It gives him a very menacing look. A lot more menacing than Galvatron did. So, unpeg that. Articulation-wise, he has a pretty good articulation. Head does rotate all the way around, 360. Shoulders do fully work, fully rotate. The wings might clash there, but, you know, nothing too big. Arms do go outward, and he does have an elbow joint and has a rotation below the elbow joint, which is fine. He's a gunman anyway. He doesn't need rotation above the elbow, really. Nothing at the waist due to transformation. And as you can see, you kind of have these hinges just hanging here from where his arms transformed. Do got ball joints at the hips going forward and outward, but mine are loose. This might just be mine, but mine are loose, so be careful if you do buy a Henkei Cyclonus, he might have loose hips. Rotation just below the ball joint, and decent knee, just under 90 degrees with that. And you can move his toes and his heel if you want. Which could work for like a flying pose, I guess. You know, if you got him flying up like this, kind of make it look like he's thrusting up with his feet. But not too much you can do with those. So for the time he came out in 2000, the Universe version came out in 2008. Henkei 1 came out in 2009. For the time, he has really good articulation, and he's very accurate to the show. And just look at that face sculpt. That is a beautiful face sculpt for Cyclonus. As well as his kind of the Unicron effect, where you have the abs with the metal abs with the kind of spark in the middle. A lot of the guys created by Unicron had that, like Cyclonus and Galvatron, and Unicron himself has it. You can see his arms are painted purple. I'll give it a darker purple to break up all this lavender, and same on his knee pads, dark purple with silver in the middle. I do like they pretty much got everywhere there's detail, it's painted, or it's a different, or is it one of the purple colors? It's got detail on it. The gray itself is mostly just used for the horns, the arms, the upper legs, and the hands and feet. And the work, it works for me. The lavender and purple and gray look just give him a very... I never thought somebody could be purple and threatening, but he just is. It gives him a very solid look without being colorful. Very threatening kind of bright color. He almost looks like he's toxic or something, you know? So yeah, that's Nightstick and Henkei Cyclonus. Very nice little set. Very cool. If you can get any version of this Cyclonus, I would recommend him. Whether it's the Balance Space, the Universe, the Challenge at Cybertron, or the Henkei version here. I just personally saw the Henkei was on for sale for cheap, and I really wanted him. And I'm really glad I got him. He's a pretty cool figure. His articulation could use a little bit more, but I think and his vehicle mode's not the best. But I think for the time, for the looks it has, the detail it has, the paint it has, just the overall, its transformation, just the overall look it pulls off, while still having a really fun transformation, I think he should be in any collector's, on any collector's shelf. He's a very fun figure, he's very fun to mess around with, he has a really cool ship mode, and the only other thing I can think of is that his vehicle mode does not hold together the best, but again, just small things. It's just that he has a bunch of small flaws, but I'll gladly take him over the Universe Rodimus any day, really. And I think he's really fun. Anyway, this is Nary Transformed. I hope you enjoyed this review, and I hope you have a nice day. Take care.